And today we're going to continue talking about pronunciation. As I always say to you all, pronunciation is the first impression you pass on to someone. And we're going to get back to the basics. Again, we need to review a little bit of the alphabet and the sounds of the letters. Literally, I'm not going to do that. So I'm going just to mention the sounds of the letters because we're going to learn today how to pronounce the verb with the ed, regular verb, the adjectives with ed, and the past participle. So we're going to learn how to pronounce the ed form. Because what I can see basically is that students, they always want to pronounce the ed like ed, but the ed is never pronounced that way. To pronounce the ed in English, you have three ways. You have t, d, and id. And I'm going to explain why you have these differences. Why sometimes I say t, why sometimes I say d, and why sometimes I say id. So this has to do with what we have already talked before. It has to do with the sounds of the letter. Yeah, what we have to do basically, we have to analyze the end of the verb. Depends on the sounds of the letter, the end of the verb. We are going to check if this letter or the sound is voiceless or voiced. But then you can say, Fabio, can you please tell me what voiceless or voiced are? Yeah, we're going to see that. One step at a time, I'll explain what voiceless is and voiced sound is. But we have to check. And that's why we need to review the sounds of the letter. Let me give you one example. For example, the verb work. We see there is a word made of 4 letters. W-O-R-K. But what is the last letter actually? K. But what's the sound of the letter K? Because you say work. We don't say work A. No, we say work. So I want you to be attentive to the sound of the last letter. This is what really counts. You have to be attentive. I would say the last sound. It's better because sometimes the letter doesn't really, you have the letter, but you don't pronounce the letter of the word at the end. So for example, decide. So decide, the last letter is letter E, but this is the magic E that you don't pronounce. So we're going to see that definitely is the sound of the last consonant or maybe a vowel. We're going to check this, of course. But Fabio, you said that I need to know how to pronounce the ed and I can really vary according to the sound of the letter. Is that right? Yeah, it's right. But then tell me, why sometimes I cannot even notice when people pronounce that way? Yeah, that is another thing. This is another step. It's when you have a verb combined with preposition. Because then we're going to combine the sound of the last sound, the ed sound, which could be or id, with the preposition. So then in sound, it's going to sound somehow in a way that you're not familiar with. But I'll show you how you can combine the sound of ed with preposition too. But it's not for today. Today, as I said, we are going to mainly focus on the sound of the ed. 3 different sounds. Again, t, d, id. Don't get confused. The sounds are not the same of the letters. I think you remember. We have the alphabet, the letters, and the sounds of the letters. Here we need to focus on the sounds of the letter. Again, you can have regular verb in the past, we're going to have ed. Adjectives, ed. And the past participle. We can say past participle or past participle. Yeah. This is another thing, we're going to talk about this T in another class because the T in English can sound like D. Yeah, it's true. Sometimes you have the feeling that's R like in Portuguese, but it's not. For example, beautiful. Beautiful. When American people speak, they say beautiful and it sounds for us like R. Well, I would say that's not really always R, because even in Portuguese, the R depends on the R is, you can pronounce differently. I can give an example. So if I say laranja, it's a Portuguese word, you know that? But this R sounds like R. But if I say rato, it's just one R and you have rato. We're going to talk about this for sure, but be careful. When I say beautiful, participle or participle, the T sounds like D. Yeah, it's better. It's better with D sound. It's not R. But this is something that we are going to talk about, in the future. I'm going to go and explain to you what would be this sound of like in Portuguese. It's the letter H. That's why we say house. You say hat. You say head. That's the letter H. That sounds like the Portuguese one. That could be one R or two R's in Portuguese. But in English, the letter H. But this better participle or participle, that's the sound. American normally say past participle. It's not R, it's D. Okay? So we can see that the ed for the regular verb, the adjectives, and the past participle has this sound. D. That's the way. If you enjoyed this tip, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and hit the notification bell for more update. And do not forget to share this video with a friend. That could be useful for them too. Leave it here in the comments what would you like to see in the next video. I'll see you guys.